Yo, what's up? All right, let me get this recording here. Okay, awesome. So today I'm going to talk about why the real estate market is changing and how you can adapt to it. Obviously, you are no dummy because you're here, you're watching this, and you understand that the market has completely changed for wholesalers, for flippers in general, investors across the board. The market has changed. And you need to be able to adapt to changing markets. Now, myself, I've never been in a recessionary period, so I can't say that I know how to adapt and run a business during a recession. But what I do know is how to read, how to find good mentors, and how to learn from those people so that I can take the lessons that they got from the last recession or the previous recession and apply those to my business right now. And what you need to understand that as a wholesaler, as a flipper, as an investor, is that you need to adapt. We are in a recession. There's no questions about it. Don't read the news. We are currently in a recession. Inflation is real. Now, what that means for you as an investor is because if inflation is truly as high as people say it is, for some people they don't think that it's very high, and people try to downplay how much inflation there actually is. But inflation is real. And for wholesalers specifically and for flippers, what this means is all of your costs across the board have gone up, whether you realize it or not. Not just your cups of coffee, not just your gas, not just the simple things that you're buying, but also your cost of doing business has gone up. Labor is more expensive. Paying for employees is more expensive than ever. Paying for supplies if you're flipping, carpet, paint, tile, contractors, everything that you need for your flip is more expensive. Everything that you need to run your business, software is more expensive. Everything is more expensive. Inflation is real and it's here to stay at least throughout the rest of the year and into the next year, unless the Fed can make some changes. But currently, right now, inflation is real. So, as a wholesaler, as a flipper, as an investor, what that means is you need to be mindful of this inflation. And how do you apply that into your business? Well, one, you want to look at any extraneous expenses that you can cut. What are some expenses that you can cut right now to maximize your profit potential? During times where things are good, where we're selling to hedge funds at 80% on 80% deals, we're selling things like this, it is easy to get inflated. So where in your business right now can you cut cost to mitigate the risk of inflation? Or the other way to look at this is where in your business can you adapt to get a better return to beat the current inflation? So is that reinvesting back in marketing because you're getting a great ROI? Is that reinvesting back into your employees because you're getting a great ROI from them and they're growing the business? Can you beat inflation with growth? And also simultaneously looking at how we can reduce expenses to beat inflation as well, so we're not over leveraged or we're not too fat. So point number one to remember, inflation is real. Second thing is that inflation is impacting your buyers. So whether you're a flipper and you're selling to retail buyers, MLS buyers, you're selling to MLS, you're a wholesaler, you're selling to end buyers, you're selling portfolios, you're selling to hedge funds. Buyers want good deals right now. They want not only good deals, they want great deals because inflation is so high. The cost of expenses is so much higher. The cost to do a remodel is so much higher that if your deal is not deep enough on the discount, they don't even want to touch it. And this is verified by looking at buyer trends and buyer information. This isn't just an opinion. This is backed by fact. Buyers want great deals right now. Everyone wants a great deal, but especially right now where inflation is high, their costs are higher, interest rates are through the roof, which means your flippers that are buying deals from you as a wholesaler or end buyers, their carrying costs have gone through the roof. They have more expenses to make the profit that they were making. So their margins are getting smaller and smaller. So to treat your buyers well, to keep them, understand that they're being impacted by inflation too. You're being impacted by inflation. So it means you have to bring great deals to the table. No longer can you bring these iffy deals and hope to get them assigned or hope to sell them to an end buyer. You have to bring great deals to the table in order for your buyers to buy them from you. So what that means is you need to be more efficient. We talked about either investing back into growth to beat inflation, cutting expenses so you're not too fat and you can be capital efficient. You have more profit to work with. Bringing great deals to the table for your buyers. The next point is you need to be efficient as you possibly can. Because when you're efficient, you're looking at everything in a different perspective, a different mindset. First thing you need to be is efficient in your deal structuring. Yep. You can't just wholesale anymore. You have to understand creative financing. You have to understand alternative ways to get deals closed. Novations, partnering with the seller, seller financing, subject to, lease options. You need to understand all of those different ways to structure and create a deal because you want to be as efficient as you can with your marketing dollars. If you're spending $1, you want to find a way to turn that into multiple dollars in the back end. Every single dollar that you spend must be accounted for when it comes to marketing to generate some type of ROI in a recessionary period where inflation is through the roof right now. You want to be as efficient as you can with the deal structure. Now, wholesalers, you're probably thinking, well, how do I assign that? There's 1,000 videos on YouTube where will teach you how to assign a creative financing deal, how to find a buyer for your lease options, or the notes that you create for owner financing or seller financing. But you want to make sure that this is the best way to think about it. You as the carpenter, you have 10 different tools, 10 different ways that you can close deals. You want to make sure that you understand how to use all of those tools to the best of your ability to make sure that you're efficiently turning your marketing dollars into revenue on the back end. Especially right now, you can no longer get away just wholesaling. You must become a deal maker. You want to be efficient in your operations. So we talked about this earlier as cutting expenses. Where in your operations is there bloat? Where in your operations can you add efficiency? Where in your operations can you add automation? Can you remove people from the process and insert software? Because if your business is more efficient, that generates greater profits, generates greater velocity, and you can close more deals if your operations are efficient. So where in your business can you increase the efficiency of your operations? Where in your business can you increase the efficiency of your team? If you have acquisition reps, can you train them on how to be a deal maker? Not just a wholesaler, not just an acquisitions rep. Can you train them on how to be a deal maker? So they can look at every deal the way that you would, underwrite it, and see, does a creative deal here make sense? What deal makes sense? What deal structure makes sense for the deal that I'm presented? And you also want to teach your team to do multiple different roles. Acquisition reps should also learn how to do dispo. Because if they understand how to do dispo and how you sell deals, they'll be able to lock up better deals. And now you need less people on your dispo side, which allows you to be more capital efficient. Right now is not the time to be adding and building a huge team. Right now is to figure out who on your team are your rock stars that can do multiple different roles so you have more revenue per employee. The goal here isn't trying to get as big as possible. The goal here is to be as profitable as possible because wholesaling, real estate investing is about generating large sums of capital to divest into other assets. You didn't get into wholesaling because you just liked flipping and creating deals. You most likely got into wholesaling because there was something on the other end that you wanted, whether that was passive income, whether that was rentals, whether that was buying long-term commercial buildings, whether that was retiring family, whether that was setting yourself up for retirement. You got into wholesaling because you were looking for something else. And wholesaling is how you generate those large sums of capital to acquire properties, to acquire the real estate portfolio that you want, to acquire the retirement that you were looking for. So look on your team and see who can be most efficient right now. Teach them the skills that they need in order so that they are more efficient. So you can get by with less employees, less overhead, and you can be more capital efficient. Which leads me into the last point with efficiency. How can you be efficient with your capital? How can you be efficient with your capital? So how can I take the money that I have and have it work for me either in the business or outside of the business, generating a return? Now, keep in mind, inflation is through the roof. So we want to make sure that we're getting a good return on the capital we have in the business. So with that being said, like financially, make sure the business has reserves, has surplus reserves, especially right now, so you can weather a down season. But the excess capital, how are you deploying that to make sure that the business is capital efficient? Are you investing in software to replace either employees or time, or to make the operations better? Are you investing that capital back into marketing because you're getting a 12x ROI versus 0.5% a year in a bank account? Where can you be efficient with capital to produce excess returns? This is the stuff that you want to think about in periods like this. This is what I'm learning from mentors, from guys that have gone through recessions, from guys that have seen down seasons. This isn't just my experience. This is the lessons that I'm learning from these guys that are doing hundreds of millions of deals, hundreds of millions of dollars in deals every year. And the last thing which we talked about is building cash reserves. The last thing that you want to do is run out of money right now. You want to build your cash reserves up as big as possible by making sure that you're as efficient in the business as possible to produce excess profits. Because when we get out of this current season, which there will be a crash at some point, whether that's in the housing, whether that's the stock market or something, there will be a crash that will put assets on sale. And you want to have capital available to buy those assets on sale. Because if you're in this game, you're in it for the long term. You're not in this game because you want to get rich quick or you want to get rich overnight, or you're looking at this at 12 months or 6 months as a way to replace your side income. If you're truly in this business, you're in it for the long term. And if you're in it for the long term, what you should be looking at is for the next 5 to 10 years, how can I acquire assets at such a cheap cost that over time I will be able to build a fortune? How can I build a fortune by taking my cash reserves, the excess profit from my business, and buying assets when they're on sale? As a wholesaler, that's what we do. We look and find properties at a discount, and we find buyers for that. We want to do the same thing with our own finances, with our own profit that we generated. What assets can I buy on sale because they're distressed, because we're in a recession, because there was a crash? So during the next boom, which there will be another boom, it just goes in cycles. Look at history. That I will come out on top and sell at the top of that boom. That's where fortunes are made. Everyone thinks fortunes are made at the top. Fortunes are made at the people that were smart, built up cash reserves, and bought those assets cheap now and waited 5 years, 10 years, 15 years to sell those. That's how you can win the game. So wholesaling has completely changed. It is no longer just a side hustle. It is no longer, I find iffy deals and send them to buyers and they are locking up everything because appreciation is through the roof. The real estate market is in a boom. The real estate market is no longer in that boom. It has shifted and has adjusted, and you should too. And the way that you do that, for all of you that jumped on late, is understanding that inflation is real. Costs are through the roof across the board. Labor, software, supplies, not just your coffee, not just your burgers, not just your gas. Business costs are through the roof. So that means buyers need and want good deals, great deals. 70% in most markets is not going to cut it. They want it at 60. They want it at 50 because they're mitigating risk. They have higher carrying costs because inflation or the interest rates are so high. They have higher costs to rehab because inflation has made lumber prices go through the roof, which actually they're kind of on the way back down now. But there's shortage of supplies, shortage of contractors. Buyers need great deals. So bring them great deals. If you can't bring them a great deal, find a way to structure a deal using creative terms. Because buyers will buy a subject to deal from you to fix and flip. I guarantee it. If you can get a subject to deal at a lower interest rate than what's currently on the market, and they don't have to carry that money They only have to pay the mortgage on a property. They will do that in a heartbeat. That's the type of deals that you want to be finding. How can I mitigate risk for my end buyers so they want to buy my deals? How can I be efficient with my deal structures, with my operations in my business, with my team, with my capital, so that I can build reserves during this period and buy assets on sale? That's the game. Now, what we're specifically doing with all of our clients is understanding these macroeconomic principles, things that are going on big scale in the market. How do we apply that to our clients' businesses? Well, we're taking them through a strategic curriculum that I put together to adapt to this market and any market that you'll face. And it's built out in phases. Phase one is all about building the foundation to be as capital efficient so we can build a business that is truly a pump. A business that's a pump produces excess profits that we can use to reinvest back into the business to grow it faster or into other assets. So the way that we do that is very first thing that we do with all new clients that come in is buyer research. As a wholesaler, as a flipper, we don't exist without buyers. Whether that come from the retail market or that come from off-market buyers, we don't exist without buyers. The buyers dictate how well I do as a wholesaler. So I want to go out and do research on them. Where are they buying deals? What zip codes? What cities? Are they buying 3-2s, 4-2s? Are they buying townhouses, condos? What price points? How much of a discount do they need? What spreads are they getting? Now, once I understand that, then I can adapt my marketing, which is the second part in phase two. Now I've informed my marketing. Now I can be as efficient as possible with my marketing. No longer do I need to buy 10,000 records across the entire county. I can buy 10,000 records in a specific zip code that I know buyers already want to buy deals and sell them those deals because I've built up a relationship with them. I've reached out to them, asked them what they wanted, and I brought them exactly what they're looking for. So now I'm not wasting marketing spend on deals that maybe I can close. I'm spending marketing on deals that I know can close. Once we've informed the marketing, then we pick which route we want to go down. Do we want to just pay for marketing, pay for leads? Or do we want to use data marketing where I go out and buy a list and build a team of cold callers and texters to run campaigns for me to generate lead flow? Then what is my operation? What does my tech stack look like? How do I manage my business so that I'm in this game for the long term? The people that are in this game for the short term don't have a CRM. They don't have an operation in place. They don't have an asset that allows them to generate leads, then follow up with those leads and convert those leads. They're operating off a spreadsheet or a notepad or something like that. If you truly want to win in this business, you need to have some type of operating system. Your brain just isn't enough because the operating system is going to save you time. It's going to make sure that you're efficient in the business. It's going to make sure that you can actually turn the marketing into revenue over a long period of time. Because right now, very few of your deals are going to close like that. You're going to find people in distressed situations that need to sell right now, and it's just a matter of timing. But most of the leads that you're going to generate are going to need some time to move because they have to go out and get approved for a mortgage at 7%. They have to go find a place to live, or they have to decide if they want to pay $2 or $3 grand a month in rent. Moving expenses are higher. Gas is more expensive for sellers. So that's why you're seeing a ton of deals with post-possession. Because, hey, I need some time. Like, it's expensive out here. So understanding that and adapting how I want to run my business to those realities. Now that I've informed my marketing, then I want to build my team. I want to train myself on my deal structure. I want to understand and make sure that I can close deals by increasing my sales skills. I want to be tracking my numbers so I know to a dollar where my revenue is coming from, where my most efficient campaigns are, where I'm getting deals and who's buying those deals. I want to know all those numbers because I'm not running a side hustle. I'm running a business that is built to produce profits for me long term. Because once I know those numbers, then I can adapt. Just like a pilot has all the gauges in the cockpit to tell them their heading, their airspeed, all of those things are important in business as well. You need to know where you're at and how to course correct. If you go out and ask anyone in these Facebook groups that are posting deals that they're closing what their P&L is, what their CapEx is, I bet you they don't know. But you should know how much you're spending on marketing, how much your cost per deal is, what your revenue per employee is, how much you need in business reserves. Do you have access to capital? You need to know all this stuff to run an operation. And that's all the stuff that we're working with clients on to build an actual business, because the goal is not just to wholesale. The goal is to build an operation that can sustain without us, that produces excess profits, that allows us to buy assets to play this game long term. And that's what we're built to do. So thanks for jumping on. I know this was a little bit hard hitting, but I gotta give the truth. I gotta let you guys know what's going on. Each week, Wednesday at 12 o'clock Arizona time. I say Arizona time because we're either on PST or MST, but Arizona does not change time zones. We stay the same time all year. We just move which time zone we're in. 12 o'clock Arizona time every Wednesday. I'll be here dropping bombs, whether that is what's going on macroeconomics and how you can adapt to your business, why wholesaling has changed, operation structures, team structures, onboarding, marketing, finding buyers, selling over the phone, whatever it is that you need covered, we're covering it here in this group each Wednesday at 12 o'clock. And I hope to see more of you here. Thanks for jumping on.